Hi, this is the directions for sauce sales estimates. So open Excel. So you have a brand new worksheet, and then you'll start right in A1, and I'll type the information. So in A1, type sauce, then press tab. In B1, price, tab, C1, estimated year 1 units. Then in A2, peach mango barbecue, press enter, Texas style BBQ, traditional teriyaki. Keep hitting enter, sweet pepper and tomato, all the way to creamy Alfredo, and you'll find this on page 182. Then we'll start to fill in the price. So if you click in B2, it looks like you're typing in the middle of the peach mango barbecue, but as you type $2.95 and press enter, it gets tucked under. So if you look, you just see peach ma, but if you look in the formula bar, it's all completely showing the entire contents of A2. So I'll go ahead and press enter, type $4.95. Again, it's going to tuck under, $2.95. $3.95, enter, $4.95, and another $3.95, and they all tucked under. What you can do, because you can't see all of the contents unless you were to click the cell and look in the formula bar, is hover to the boundary between A and B where it double arrows and double click, and it makes it as wide as it needs to fit the entire longest item in that column. I would do the same thing between C and D because you can tell that the column C's title is much larger. So I'll double click up here and it makes it as long as it needs to be. So now we'll type in the units, how many were sold, 65,000. Press enter, 75,000, enter, 55, and then 65 again, 75, and then 80,000. And then we'll get ready to type in the title for column D. This one will be called Estimated Year 1 Sales. And enter, and again, double click so you can see the entire column. After looking over, we started right away with column titles and then the names of the items, but we have no heading for this worksheet. So if you hover with the arrow on the one and click, it highlights the entire row. Then on the Home tab in the Cells group, there's two parts to the Insert button. Select the top part. It inserts a row. Click it once, click it twice. In A1, you're going to type a title. Year 1 Sales Estimates, colon, sauce, products, and press enter. They're all the same row height, which is 15 pixels, and what we want to do is make it larger. So if you hover between the boundary of 2 and 3 and you drag it, you can make it, in the book asks for size 30 pixels, and then let go. If you have trouble highlighting to drag it, if you right click, you can choose row height and type exactly what you want. Then we would like to add a new column between A and B. So again, with the arrow on the letter B, the column heading, hold it so it selects the entire column and choose insert again. So now you're inserting a column versus inserting a row because we highlighted the B. In B3, type sauce type and press enter. This sauce type is barbecue. Press enter. Barbecue again, but I'm just going to type a lowercase b and it remembers it for me, so I'll press enter. Marinade, pasta. This one is barbecue, so just B, and the next one just pasta. So it has auto repeat, so it'll fill it in for you. Now we're ready for a formula in E4. So what you want to do is actually take the price of the barbecue sauce, $2.95, times how many units were sold, 65,000. So anytime you create a formula, it must start with an equal sign, I'm going to click C4, asterisk is multiply, and then D4. So up in the formula bar, the formula is equals C4 times D4, which appears here in the cell that we're in. But once I press enter, the formula disappears from here and you have the actual product. So when I press enter, I should have 191,750. If I click back in that cell, there's my formula. Now, to repeat it through the rest of the rows, just hover over the fill handle and double click, and it repeats it all the way through. So it should be C4 times D4, C5 times D5. So it's always C times D. The only thing that changes is the row number. It's always C times D. And that's called relative cell reference. If you click in E10 and you want a total of all the numbers above in that column, if you click the sigma auto sum, it'll give you the formula equals sum E4 through E9 and just press enter. You can also, if you were in D10 and you wanted all of how many units were sold also, it's again auto sum, or a shortcut is alt equals. And it should be the same formula, equals sum D, because I'm in column D, D4 through D9, and enter. Now, columns C and E are monetary amounts. So they should have the dollar sign, they should have the decimal place, 2 places, and commas where needed. So I'm going to select C4 through 9. I'll hold Control and select E4 through E10, and this is the current accounting number format, so select the dollar sign, and you get all the dollar signs, the commas, and the decimal places. For the units, select D4 to D10. Now they shouldn't have the dollar sign because they're how many units that were sold. They should have the comma. But with the comma, you also get decimal places, which you don't need because it's just units, it's not dollars. So if you choose decrease decimal once, twice, you have just the commas and not the decimals. So if we wanted to look back at our formula, it was C times D, and so forth. But we want to add another column. Select the heading D and click Insert. And when you're inserting columns, they always insert to the left. This one will be called In-Store Date. Enter. Now the date is chopped off. If you were to double click here, it would make it as wide as it needs to be. But instead, there's another feature you could use which is called wrap text, and it forces it to go down to another line. Then we'll type the date, May 2nd, 2017. This is from the textbook, and press enter. Notice I spelled May out, space 2, comma, space 2017. When I press enter, it changes it to like military European style date. So if you click back into it and that's not the way you want it, this is the default by Excel, you would click this down arrow in the custom and choose, there's either short, which is the way we read the dates, month and the day, or long, which has the day of the week. So we'll choose short. So it's May 2nd, 2017. Now, if I use the fill handle, it's going to put May 2nd, it's going to do the continuous May 3rd, May 4th, May 5th, but I don't want that, I want them all May 2nd. So I'll click this autofill options, and instead of filling it, where it's doing the consecutive days, I'm going to choose copy, so I get all May 2nds. So right now we'll work on enhancing the look and feel of this worksheet. So I'll select items in row 3 by selecting A3 and drag across. So select and drag across. And I want them centered within the column itself and probably bold. And maybe change the tipped over paint bucket is the shading, and you can choose a different color shading if you'd like. And then for the title, Right now it's in A1. It's really not in B1 because nothing shows up in the formula. But now that we know how wide this worksheet is, it goes all the way to column F, we'll select A1 and drag to F, and we'll click Merge and Center. What you don't want to do is hover over the 1 to select the entire row, because if you merge and center, you're merge and centering it from here to infinity. So what you want to do is make sure that you select only as wide as it goes to F, and then choose Merge and Center. And if you wanted to change the font, you could choose a different font type, and then maybe make it larger. And if you wanted to put a shading behind it, you could, and maybe change the color of the font. You could do that as well. And then if you select the two totals, if you select both of them, there's an accounting where you have the single underline and the double underneath it. If you select those two cells and choose Cell Styles on the Home tab, there is a feature called Total. And it actually puts the thin line on top of it, single line, and a double underneath it. And then over in A10, I forgot to have you type total in A10. Also, the book has the sauce types centered underneath. So it's underneath the column that's centered. Everything else is the default, which is left. And let's get ready to see what it looks like printed. Choose File, Print. And it looks like, oh, it fits nice, but there's something missing on this side. So if you look down at the bottom, it says 1 of 2. There you have something on the other page. You wouldn't print on both. So Excel default is to print in portrait. But if we were to change the orientation to landscape, it'll all fit on one page. So it's 1 of 1 instead of 1 of 2. The only thing is it's over in the upper left corner. It is not vertically centered or horizontally centered. So if you just hover down and click Page Setup, you've noticed there's 4 tabs. We already changed it to landscape. Click Margins. Let's change Center on Page to center both horizontally and vertically. Then go to Header Footer, choose Custom Header, and you get 3 options, the left, center, and right. In the left, click this 7, which is the insert date. It's a formula. It'll put the current date. Click in the center section and type click the X, which is insert file name, so it'll actually put the file name. And in the right section, type your name. And then click OK and OK. It says book 1, but once you save it with the name of this one, 7-Sauce Sales Estimates, the name will change here. So go ahead and save this and then submit, and you've completed this exercise.